Harry Gray, younger brother of Archie Gray and now a scholar at Leeds United, having agreed a 2-year deal with the club. However, I think this has opened up a potentially fairly big conversation into sort of wider stuff around Harry and how Leeds United sort of back their youngsters. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to talk you through the news specifically surrounding Harry. I'm going to talk you through lessons that we should probably learn from the past, how we can apply them going forwards, and ultimately what all of this means for the club. What else you can do, in addition to sticking around for all of that, is pop a like on the video and also subscribe and get tickets for the Leeds Creator Cup. For every subscriber that I've got at full time in that match, I'll be giving another 1p to Prostate Cancer UK. And in addition to that, 20th of July, 1 p.m, all of your favourite Leeds United creators will be playing against each other in a big old game of football. John Charles Centre for Sport. It'll be a fantastic time. £7 for kids, £3 for adults, and a little bit of an exclusive for you. Yesterday, I agreed that they're going to open the bar so you can have a pint as well. It's going to be a good time. Harry wouldn't be able to have a pint, but you can. Anyway, into the main bit of the story. Harry has signed a 2-year deal at the club as one of the club's scholars. This happens every single year going into a new season. The best of the academy will get picked up to get senior contracts, or at least like permanent contracts at the club. And then a bunch of other players will be released, but we don't tend to cover those ones because they're ones that we won't have heard of in the first place, basically. If you're not breaking into the under-18s by the point that there is the scholars conversation going on, odds are you're probably not going to get a contract. On that note, Harry is currently only 16 years of age, which is a very impressive age to be playing the level of football that he is. He's played a little bit of senior stuff, played a hell of a lot for the under-21s, was in the under-18s like the season before last, I believe, which is impressive because he was like 14 going on 15 that year. However, a lot of people will note that being 16 years of age and having signed a 2-year deal, that's not a long time. That'll only go until he is 18 years old, or at least the summer after he becomes 18. I think he'll be like 18 and 8 months or something like that. So why? There's a couple of reasons. Sorry about that. I'm recording this at 2:30 in the morning, and Arlo started barking, which isn't the best of combinations. But yeah, he's currently only 16, and the reason that he can't sign a longer contract is firstly because he legally can't. He needs to be at the age of 18 before he is able to sign a longer deal. I think the longest you can sign up until that point is a 3-year contract, which is, I mean, fair enough. I think if I remember right, you can sign 3 years plus a few like couple of year-long extensions with the club, but base contract maximum 3 years. Harry has opted for 2. I don't know whether that was on the club side or Harry's side, but he can sign a longer one from October 2026. It's weird to me that the guy's still only 16 years old. It feels like he's older than that because he's been around the periphery for a really long time, but who knows? But I think there is a very, very big lesson for Leeds United to learn here, and a big step that Leeds need to take going forwards. Because we have the perfect example of what's happened in the past with our decision-making with Archie. So we signed him on one of these scholars contracts, we signed him on an extended contract, but within said future contract came a release clause. Now, this is where things get a bit tricky, because realistically, Harry and Archie are going to have the same representation. They'll be represented by the same either specific person or people, and they will know how to deal with Leeds United. And they will know that when dealing with Leeds United, you're in a situation where the club wants to have the legacy of the Gray family, without a doubt, because it is something that sort of adds to the identity and the structure of the club, and it makes everyone sort of feel good. Everyone, when they see a Gray on the bench, so for example, when I was at it wasn't Bristol, Stoke, when I was at the Stoke match, and Harry starts warming up in front of us, everyone really, really happy. When he comes on as a sub, everyone's really, really happy. And that's the sort of vibe that the club will want to foster going forwards. It'll want to sort of build that community feeling while still increasing in quality. And this is a way that you can do both at the same time, because Harry is very, very clearly a player with a lot of potential. However, that potential is something that we need to be careful with. Because what happened the last time we had a guy with a lot of potential was we didn't get promoted, and then he ended up leaving. I think what we need to do is, like we did with Archie, present him with a clear route into the first team and present him with a vision of what is to come in the coming years. So, for example, Archie may have seen a club that A, stalled a little bit, and B, he's got an offer from a side that is potentially going to get Champions League football the season after he went, and they did because they won the Europa League. And Ange Postecoglou, which, as much as you might point to his results and say that he wasn't very good, plays an exciting brand of football. And a lot of footballers will want to play fun and exciting football, as we saw with the sort of caliber of players that came when Marcelo Bielsa was the manager. And whilst we couldn't match that pull, we can still have a pretty damn big one. We can offer that route into the first team for Harry, as we started to do when he got minutes against Stoke. It'll be harder next season, I have no doubt, because we've signed Demetra, we'll sign another number 10. There are players in the way. I think we'll sign another number 9 as well, to be completely clear on that. But things are going to get a bit clogged up. He might get a couple of minutes here and there. He'll probably play a couple of matches in the Cup. But I don't think he'll get a ton more than that, which is not ideal, but he'll play a little bit. But more than that, we need to sort of present ourselves as a potential future for him. So when that 18th birthday comes around, we're not in a position where we're sort of like, well, there's how many months will it be? 8 months left on the contract, and he doesn't want to be here. We need to provide that incentive like we do for a lot of other young players. So, for example, the example I use is Finlay Gorman, who has left Leeds United, gone to Manchester City to be a part of their academy instead. And sure, like the magnetism of that is going to be very, very obvious. It's going to be ridiculous. And we need to try and find a way to not match that, because that's impossible, but to build ourselves up as similar competition. Because if we don't, then all we're going to be doing is remaining in a position of youngsters will go elsewhere when they get the opportunity to do so. The way that we prove ourselves in that way is we become a consistent Premier League side, which admittedly takes a lot of money and it takes time, and you can't necessarily do that like that, and it's never going to be proven. You have to keep stepping forwards. But if we're able to do so, A, players will want to come through the ranks here because we've gained a bit of prestige, but we need to do it whilst offering those opportunities in the first team. Because if you look at what happened last time we were in the Premier League, youth didn't really come through much. It was a case of sign Koch and Llorente and Rodrigo and McKennie and Adams and Aronson and more older players for the first team, and very few footballers actually came through, which is something that we should probably look to avoid going forwards. And if we can find that balance of nurturing the younger players, showing that we value them while still getting to the top of our game and really proving ourselves, then I think we'll be in the best possible position for having a foundation for the future. And hopefully that all ends really well. Just like hopefully you enjoyed this video. At the end of the day, all of that, just what I think. So let me know what you're thinking down below. Pop a like on the video, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. It's massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're not yet. Again, that one click is 1p to Prostate Cancer UK. And looking at my subscribers, off the top of my head, about 800 of you will get prostate cancer at some point in your lives. It's a cause that matters to so many people. 1 in 8 men get prostate cancer at some point. So that one click, that 1p can save a life. So I hope you contribute to doing so. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Also, spoiler warning. I've heard that there's another Grey. I don't know the details, but that's what I've heard. It's very exciting. Doodaloo.